Hey, welcome to today's video. This is the second video in a series called Secrets to How to Pray More Every Day, even if you're insanely busy. I am John Arnold from The Practical Disciple. If you haven't been tracking this, in the first video, I shared a very simple strategy to help you pray more without adding anything else into your day. And in a nutshell, it was this. It was to take activities you're already doing every day that you're habitual about, like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, walking your dog, driving to work, I could go on and on. There's things we do every day that we really don't have to think about. Our mind just wanders in those times. Those are ideal times to layer in a habit of prayer without adding anything else to your day. The example I used from my own life is I am working on two habits right now. One, when I put my shoes on in the day, I take a moment to ask God to help me be a better witness. And I was inspired by the verse, how beautiful are the feet of those who bring good news, to do that. And it's really been awesome as I have been doing that each day. I've already started to see some things shift in my attitude around being a witness. I've seen some response from God in that prayer, which has been really encouraging. It's taken no extra time in my day because I'm doing it while I'm tying my shoes. So unless I just decide to go barefoot the rest of my life, I'm going to have time to pray about that every day without adding anything extra in. Now, in this video, what I want to do, though, is show you how easily that can fall apart if you don't follow the three simple instructions I gave. And they were this: pick an activity that you do every day. And, if it's something small, it's even better if it can be several times a day. But if it's once a day, that's okay. Also, decide what the focus of your prayer will be for the time you're in that activity. So, like for me, I mentioned I'm focusing on being a better witness when I'm putting my shoes on. I have another one I'll share in a moment where my focus is praising God. That's what I spend during that prayer time. And then lastly, set yourself up with a reminder, because if you're doing this as a part of something that's already habitual, it's actually kind of difficult at first to remember to do it because you go into that sort of, autopilot mode around habits where you're not thinking. You just go in and you start brushing your teeth, or you hop in the car and you start headed to work without even thinking about, you're not even having to think about where you're making turns and stuff. You just do it on autopilot. So sometimes it's hard to attach something to that habit if you don't have something that interrupts the habit to remind you that now you're doing something new, specifically prayer, during that time. So, okay, here's what I want to do. I'm going to share with you how I tried to implement that and immediately dropped the ball. I want you to learn from my mistakes. It was a really simple twist that has turned everything around. So here's what I decided to do. I decided that every morning when I would walk my dog Bert, which is going crazy down here. Let me show you Bert real quick. He's all excited because I have his leash up here. But anyways, every morning when I would do the first walk of the day with Bert, I do 3 or 4 of them a day, and usually I listen to podcasts. I was going to dedicate that first one to praising God, because that's a perfect way to start our day. It grounds us. It gets us in a peaceful, humble place to go into the day. And I'm going to try to set him down, see if he will relax if I put the lead down. But one of the problems I had was that I didn't follow, as I said, my own simple directions. I failed to put a reminder in place. I thought that just seeing the lead there, I thought the activity itself would be a strong enough trigger. And I was completely wrong. The first day or two, it was no problem. But then like the third day, I walked Bert and I got home. I'm like, I didn't pray. And the fourth day, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it today. I'm going to do it today. I went in there, I grabbed the lead, I walked off. I didn't pray. So here's what I did to fix the problem. Very simple. I took this cross I have that was hanging on a mirror in my bedroom, and I lay it on top of the lead where it sits in our front entryway. And now when I get up and I get dressed and I go in to walk Bert, I see that there. I actually, for the first, probably week to 10 days, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hold that in one hand and hold his lead in the other as a conscious reminder through the whole walk that I want to be using that time to praise God. That may be overkill, but as forgetful and as easily as distracted as I am, it's probably not. So I'm going to do that until it starts to feel kind of normative. And then I probably won't carry it with me. I'll step back a step and I'll just lay it on top of the lead so that I pick it up and I go, oh yeah, remember to pray. And I take the lead with me. And then when I get back, set the lead down, I'll lay it back on top. And just that one little trick, just making sure I included a reminder, has made all the difference in the world in me being faithful to what I said I wanted to do to improve my relationship with God. And again, doing this added nothing extra into my day at all. I'm just redeeming times that I have set aside for mundane stuff you got to do every day and using it as a time to just kind of touch base with God really quickly. And it's been great. And I'm looking forward to layering habits on as I go. Now, I want to talk in general about why most of us, the big mistake, why most of us aren't praying throughout our day, making prayer a regular part that's guiding our day like a steering wheel. Corrie ten Boom, who, if you're not familiar with her, she did some very heroic things in Nazi Germany as a Christian who spoke and lectured after that. She has a great quote where she says, is prayer your steering wheel or your spare tire? And we don't want it to be our spare tire. We don't want to just turn to prayer as like a last resort, right? And when everything's going bad. That makes us the guy who is, like a friend only when we need something. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to be somebody who goes to God only when we need something. Instead, we want it like a steering wheel where every day, we're turning to God throughout the day to help guide and lead our actions and ground us in the Holy Spirit. So, okay, here's the number one problem most people have, and it's really, truly this simple. Most of us, if we're honest with ourselves, we do not have any plan for praying during the day. It's really that simple a lot of times. If you're praying as you're falling asleep at night, and you pray for 2 minutes and then you're drooling on your pillow, or if you're going through your whole day and you forget to pray, or if, like you pray at meal times and maybe you have a devotional time, but otherwise God's kind of in a box and separate from the rest of your day, odds are you just don't have any kind of plan in place with some specificity to it so that you do it. And we make time for the things that are important to us, and when we schedule things or we plan things and we're intentional about it, we do it. If you go into your day with just an intention of, okay, I'm going to pray sometime today, or I hope to pray today, it's going to wind up at the margins and you're going to give God leftover time if you give God any at all. So here's what I want to encourage you to do is kind of your homework for this video. It's a little bit of an extension from the first one. If you didn't watch that, I would really encourage you to go watch that. But I want you to, first off, write down your prayer plan for the day. Write down your prayer plan for the day. And if you're like, man, I don't know what that means or how to do that, it's okay. Wherever you're watching this video, down below it, to the side of it, somewhere you're going to see a link for downloading a worksheet I made. Yours will be printed front and back. But on one side, I have instructions for exactly what to do. I'm going to give you an example right now. And then I have a sheet for tracking your progress for 7 days. So let me go ahead and go through these, and I'll share an example and give you a little instruction. So write down your prayer plan for the day. Include the activity that you're going to pray during. That's the walking the dog, tying your shoes, brushing your teeth, making your bed, whatever it is. The focus for your prayer time. And here's one reason that's important. And then in the next video, I'm going to reveal to you another secret that's going to show you why this is really important, okay, and make a huge difference. But for now, just realize that if you choose a focus, you're going to, first off, be much more regular about the habit in general that you're creating. The more you know, the more specificity you have around a routine, the easier and the better it is for you to keep that routine. There's a lot of research on habits that shows that to be true. Just trust me on that. If you have a focus, you're going to also have a richer prayer time. Because what happens is when you go into prayer without some intention whatsoever, which you can do, it's okay to sit down and talk with God. That's what prayer is anyways. Or to just sit there and listen for God. That's 100% okay. And you want to do that. But, okay, a little caveat here. It's, to me, kind of like going to a grocery store without a list. If I go to the grocery store without a list, a lot of times I just wander around in there and I make it out without getting things I needed and maybe buying a bunch of stuff I didn't, okay? And if you go into prayer and you don't have any intention for how you want to spend that time with God, you're just not going to get as much out of it. Trust me on this one. Having a focus helps you be more present and stay present mentally to what you're doing with God. Do you have to limit it to that focus? No. You may get in there and go, just like when you do in the grocery store, oh yeah, I forgot this and I need to do this right now. Sometimes I get in the grocery store, I have a great list and I realize there's 5 things I forgot to get as I'm wandering around. That's okay. You get into your prayer time and you want to spend extra stuff on other things. It's not to limit you. It's just to give you a sort of a conversation starter and an anchor that you can go back to if your mind wanders, which mine does a lot. So I find it really helpful. And lastly, your reminder. And as you can see from my example, the reminder can be really critical. And then what you want to do is, for at least 7 days, track your habit. Okay? And it's really simple how you're going to do that. I have this worksheet I mentioned, and on the back of it, if you'll download it, or if you just want to do this on a piece of paper, I left some space at the top where you can write out your prayer plan, and I have some instructions for how to do that on the sheet, but it boils down to making sure you include the activity, the focus, and the reminder. And then after that, there's a section where it says circle yes or no each day below. And if your answer is no, note why you didn't pray and what you can do the next time to make sure you do pray. Okay? It's really that simple, and it will take you just a moment, but I all but guarantee you that this little exercise will likely be the dividing line between people who succeed at integrating more prayer in their life through a new habit of prayer than those who don't. It'll be a big dividing line for them. Because what we track, we do better in. It's that simple. We just progress more and we do better in the things that we will track if we do nothing else. And most days, like literally, if you may just go, yes, 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 and you're done. But if it's no, then you want to take a moment and go, okay, so what happened? What went wrong? And how can I make sure that doesn't happen tomorrow? And that may take you 30 seconds to write down. So this is not going to demand a lot of time. Now, I would encourage you to try a new habit for at least 21 days because it takes a while to see the fruit of what you're doing and appreciate the value of it. I only made this out for 7 days because honestly, this is here mostly to help you tweak what you decided to do, because you're going to find out really quickly in the first 3 or 4 days, most likely, what's working and what's not working. So this is almost entirely about kind of nailing it down and getting a working formula. And you'll do that, I think, within 7 days. If you're still struggling with it, that's okay. Print another sheet out, or just start writing down every day yes or no. I would print this sheet out and lay it somewhere with a pen where you're going to see it every day. Like you might put it on your pillow after you make your bed, and in the morning or at night, one or the other, you go, okay, yes or no. And you jot down your recommendation. Or put it on your bathroom counter. But someplace where you're going to see it every day, and you're going to take just a minute to do that. After 3 or 4 days, you may have nailed it down and feel there's no need to do this. I would encourage you to do it for 7. So that's kind of it. Oh, I said I'd share an example. For example, here is, now I have a daily devotional time, and I didn't write that out here. I do say a few words about devotional times on here if you have one. And if you don't, there's a little bit about how that may integrate. But here's what I wrote around my 2 habits. Every time I put on my shoes, I will ask God to help me to be a better witness. To help me remember, I'm going to start putting my shoes in my closet, because I'm bad about kicking them off and leaving them places. And I'm going to put them in my closet. The main reason I'm putting them there is because I'm also going to have a note card near them with a reminder to pray. So I'm kind of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I'm making sure that I break this habit of throwing my shoes all over the place. And I start putting them in my closet whenever I pull them off. But I'll have a note there to remind me. Then the second one I said, which I've gone over with you, but just as an example of this worksheet. Also, each morning when I walk Bert, which is the activity, I will spend time praising God. That's my focus. To remind me, I will set a cross on top of his lead and carry it with me while I walk him. When it begins to feel like a normal part of the morning routine, I'll stop carrying the cross, but I'll continue to leave it lying on his lead until I'm sure that I won't forget. And that's my plan. It didn't take me long to write that at all, and I have 5 recommendations on here to help you tweak that and give you a little bit of words of wisdom, if you will, from having done this a number of times. So there you have it. That's kind of, those are the mistakes, giving you the secrets behind dodging the bullet of the things I did wrong and that you might potentially do wrong. Again, if you didn't watch that first video, I hope to take some time and go do that. If you have found this video a blessing, here's what I would love for you to do. Either like, share, or comment on it, or all the above if you want to. And also, if you would please, why don't you share your prayer plan? You know, if you haven't done that already. Some people kind of did that in the first video. But let us know what you're doing. I found it really helpful. One person, in fact, I'll give you an example. One person, they're going to be praying as they're making their bed every morning. And I just forgot the focus of their prayer. But anyways, they're going to be praying as they make their bed every morning. But they're also going to set an alarm on their phone as a reminder. That's a brilliant idea because most people are inseparable from their phones. And if your habit is rooted with something that happens at a regular time, like maybe picking up the kids from school or dropping them off or something like that, that's the kind of thing where a reminder on your phone could be really easy and helpful to set up. So, okay, well that does it for this video. In the next video, what I'm going to do is, this has all been about consistency, right? So in the next video, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to teach you one little twist on what you've learned so far to take your prayer life and not make it just more frequent, but to take it and take the breadth of it and the depth of it much further. So I'm going to help you expand the type of conversation you're having with God. So we're not only working on the quantity of your relationship with God through prayer, but we're going to be working on the quality of your relationship with God through prayer. And this is going to be, it's really, really super simple. It's even easier than everything I've taught you so far. And this is really easy, okay? So I've got one thing, one slight strategic tweak tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next video. It's going to be a couple days. And I think you're going to love it. It's going to make it really simple to broaden and deepen your prayer life. All right, bye now. Again, like, share, comment. I'll see you in the next video.